Welcome to Taxonomy Online Mathematics. Alright, so this is where we relearn mathematics. We are still on the algebraic expression. This time around, we are taking factorization of algebraic expression, the type 2. In the first episode, we did type 1, containing common factors. And in the type 2, we are taking the method of grouping or grouping method. In this type of factorization, it involves algebraic expression that have 4 terms. So algebraic expression having 4 terms are factorized by what? Grouping, or they are easily factorized by grouping. Now, how do we group them? These steps that we are going to follow. 1. Group the terms that have the common factors or common variable. There are 4 terms, so it's not necessarily grouping the first 2, the last 2. You are grouping 2 of them that have a common factor or a common variable. Good. Then the second step, you are going to follow the principles we use in the first video, which means factorize each group separately. Look out for the common factor in each of the term, divide it by the common factor, put the quotients in the bracket, then place your factor outside the bracket. So you are going to factorize each group separately to obtain the same common factor, which probably is going to be in the bracket. The third one is going to be put the terms outside the bracket in one bracket, then multiply it by one of the common factors in a bracket to complete your factorization. So you put the term outside the bracket in one bracket, then and multiply it by one of the common factors in the bracket to complete your factorization. Let's take a question to see how we can do that. So we have 3a squared plus 2ab minus 12ac minus 8bc. These are 4 terms which we are asked to factorize. So we are going to look at the first 2. Do we have any common factor that we can group together? So a is here, a is here. So I'm good to go. Looking at the second bracket, do I have any common factor? C is here, C is here. So I can group the last 2, the first 2. Or better still, I am seeing A here, seeing A here. I can bring these 2 together. I am seeing B here, B here. That can also go there. But since I have the first 2, I only group them in that order. 3a squared in one bracket. So this becomes the first type. Factorization by a common factor. Then minus into bracket 12ac. Don't forget we are introducing a bracket. We explained that if there is a negative sign in front of a bracket, the sign in the bracket changes. So this is going to be plus 8bc. So that if I open this bracket, I will not change the sign of the question. Imagine, don't forget, factorization is the opposite of expansion. So if I expand this bracket, I should get back my original question. That is minus 1 times positive 12, negative 12. Minus 1 times positive 8, negative 8. But if I put here negative, then it means if I open the bracket, I will change the sign in the question. I believe you get it. Why the sign is changed to plus. Good. Common factor, 3, 2. There is no known common factor. A to the power 2 to the power 1. So A become the variable with the least power. So it means A is the common factor here. Dividing this, so the 3 will maintain. A squared divided by A. I get only A. Plus A can divide 2. So 2 will be there. A divided by A, it cancels. I'm left with only B. So that will be the first bracket. Minus 12, 8. Common factor, I believe 4. So if I take 4, A, there is no factor there. C. So I pick C as the next common factor. 4 dividing 12, I believe I get 3. AC divided by C. C cancel, I'll be left with only A. Right? Then my plus will come 8 divided by 4. I believe that will be 2. BC divided by C. That will give me only what? B. So let me rewrite this. It's going to be A, 3A. So this is what I'm going to get. A into bracket 3A plus 2B minus 4C into bracket 3A plus 2B. That gives us the same thing here. The same when we factorize each of the groupings separately to obtain the same common factor. I did this separately. I have a common factor in the bracket. This is 3A plus 2B, 3A plus 2B. It's a common factor. So it means I am going to take the common factor out to look at this. Put the terms outside the bracket in one bracket. So I'll be having A minus 4C in one bracket, multiplying one of the bracket, which is 3A, 2B. This and this minus, so in one bracket, don't forget this is a common factor. I am taking the common factor out. I'll be left with only A and 4C. So this is what we can get as the final answer if I'm to factorize this expression. I believe you get the concept. Good. I'll take another question so that we can fully understand what it means to factorize by grouping method. So let's see. We have this to factorize. Let's look into the question and see if the first two have something in common. 4, 3, no. W, Y, X, Z. Nothing in common. 2, 6. Yes, they have a common factor. W, Z, X, Y. No common factor. So I have to rearrange in a way that two of the terms will be in one bracket to have a common factor. So let's see. If I take this, my 4WY has W. This also have W. So I have minus 6WZ. Then this will become minus 2XY. But I think I have 4 terms. So this also come along with 3XZ. Don't forget, there are 4 terms. We don't have equal signs, so the sign will not change. We are only regrouping them. So the first 2 in one bracket, the second 2 in another bracket. But if I leave it this way, it means that if I open this bracket, I'll be altering the question. So I have to take care of this in a different way, as in bracket 4WY 6WZ minus into bracket 2XY minus 3XZ. Why is the minus coming? The minus is coming because of the introduction of the negative before the bracket. There's this bracket. If I open this bracket, minus 1 will multiply this to give me positive. But if I make it original as plus, then I've changed the wording of the question. So this becomes how we can group them. So I'll look out for common factor. Where are they? 4, 6. Common factor will be what? 2. So 2 WY WZ. So obviously W is a common factor. 4 divided by 2. 2. WY divided by W. You are left with only Y. 6 divided by 2. 3. WZ over W. Only Z is left. Minus 3, 2. No common factor. XY, XZ. So X is the only common factor. Dividing this, it will cancel the X, leaving 2Y. Then minus. X will go there. 3 what? Z. So you can see the bracket is the same. So we put the term outside the bracket in one bracket to mean 2W minus X. Then I bring 1 on the bracket, which will be 2Y minus what? 3Z as our final answer. Good, so this is what you do. Now, when I was grouping this, you see that I brought in the 2xy before picking this. Because I'm seeing the y in here, that's why I bring the y. You can also group them this way. 4wy, then plus 3xz, if you are grouping it that way, that is, you are taking this and this come first before this, so you are grouping them the way it is. So this become plus, so your common factor will still be 2w, 2y, 3z as in the common factor. If you come here, 3 and 2 has nothing in common, so you still have x to be the common factor, 3z minus 2y. So the bracket in this time is not the same. Positive 2y, negative 2y. So I have to make sure I make this also become positive. How will I do that? If I push this negative outside, if I push the negative outside, it will make this to become what? Negative. It will make this become what? Positive. Meaning 2w, 2y, 3z, the negative is coming out, so minus x. In this case, if this become positive, it will come first. This become negative, so 3 what? Z. So your bracket will not be the same. You only pick w, 2w minus x in one bracket, then 2y minus what? 3z in another bracket. I believe you get the concept. Good. So the grouping, you have to decide which of the terms that are having common terms. Put them together, then look out for a common factor. Alright, let's take the second one. MP, NP. We have MT, NT. So obviously the first two have a common factor, the last two have the common factor. Or better still, M and M have a common factor, N and N. Anyhow you group it, I'll prefer to group it the way they are. Meaning MP, NP in one bracket minus MT plus NT. I explain why this will be negative, will be positive from the original negative. So common factor will be just what? P. M plus N. Common factor will just be T, M plus N. So simple, right? So the terms outside the bracket become T minus P minus T, then M plus what? N. So easily. I believe you get it. So you can also try and see if you group the MP and MT, NP and what? NT. If you can get the same answer, which I'll show you will get the same answer. So I will leave this on the board, that is this, for you to try and see if you can get an answer. 3p squared, 3qt, 6p squared. Then we have what? pt. I believe 3 is common, but the variable has nothing in common. This is going to be p in common. Try and see if you can group them the first two to get an answer, or you have to regroup them. This coming here and this coming here. Alright, let's take an example that is peculiar to this. Look at this. We have to factorize p squared q squared minus 6p qr plus 9r squared. This is under grouping. So we are expected to have what? 4 terms. But I'm seeing only what? 3 terms. Which means there's a hidden 4th term. How do we do it? If you group this, you'll be left with this. But I can see PQ, PQ. I can see what? R inside. So you can see this term contains the 3 of the variables. So I can break this to become 2 terms. This is just if I ignore the negative. It means I'm having PQR. How many times? How many of them? 6 of them. So I can divide them to 2, as in make it PQR, first one to be 3, then the second one to be what? PQR3. 3 of them plus 3 of them give me what? 6 of them. So if I push in the negative, it means I have negative of the first 3, negative of the second 3, giving me what? Negative 6. What I mean is that I'll be breaking this term into 2, meaning P square Q square minus 3 PQR minus 3 PQ what? R plus 9R squared. Do you get it? I believe by now you have copied this one down to get your answer, so I'll be cleaning it. So now I have first, second, third, fourth. So I can group them separately. And if I do, it's going to be this P square, Q square in one bracket, in another bracket. The negative will cancel this to give me positive. So common factor, PQ. So PQ in one bracket, dividing this, the power will decrease to have PQ. 3 is obvious. Then PQR divided by PQ. I'll be having only what? R. Common factor, 3 and 9 is 3. PQ, no PQ, so only R. So R outside, when this divide this, 3 will be cancelling this, then R will cancel. So I have PQ, 3 dividing this give you only 3. R squared divided by R give you only what? R. PQ, 3R. PQ, 3R. So I take the bracket out, minus 3R, pick one of the bracket. So this is the same as this, as you can see. So that simply means PQ minus 3R all what? Squared. So when a question is given, sometimes you will be given 3 terms. Check and see if you can span or rewrite the third term to comprise 2 of the term, so that you can easily factorize. We will have a term that is 3, which will be under quadratic factorization. But if it is not quadratic, then expand the second term there to comprise of what? 2 terms, so that you can easily factorize that. So if this is clear, then I think you can add this also as an example to that. You can add that to the first one. You can see 1, 2, 3 terms. So we have to factorize this completely. Follow the method here and see if you can able to expand the term in the middle. But don't forget, n is common to all of them. So you can take that one out at first, then see how you can expand the term in the middle to comprise these 2 terms. Alright, if you are able to do that, please don't hesitate to send the answer through the comment section so that we learn together. You can take a snapshot and send, or just the answer to the question. That will be good to know. Don't forget, this still remain Taxonomy Online Mathematics. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not. Share this video with your colleagues, your friends, anybody in SS, anybody who loves mathematics. Share, like the video, and leave a comment below so that we interact together. See you in the next episode where we do factorization of a quadratic expression. So see you in the next episode.